In this video, we're going to check out one of the most sought after areas of the Florida Keys, Marathon Key. And this place is just booming. We're going to check out the neighborhoods. We're going to check out also their best beach, Sombrero Beach. And in case we've never met before, my name is Solaris Gregory. I'm also a licensed realtor here in Key West in the Florida Keys. And I help people buy, sell, invest, and relocate to these wonderful islands. And please like and subscribe because this is a good way to educate yourself about Key West and the Florida Keys. Now, my wife Marcella, my daughter Venice, and our puppy Honey, we were all born and raised here, and we absolutely love this island lifestyle. Also, reach out anytime, day or night. I'll be happy to answer any questions. If you're looking for a very convenient, sweet spot in the Florida Keys that's a boater's paradise where you have everything just right there, Marathon Key might just be perfect for you. Now, when I was growing up, when I think of Marathon Key, it was rusty trailers and sleepy motels. It just didn't have the caliber of what it is today. It's really improved greatly over these past few years. One of the reasons I think Marathon Key started booming so much. So in 2011, Monroe County changed the law where they made an ordinance that you have to rent your property for 28 days or more. Now, Marathon Key changed it in 2010, and they allowed 7-day rentals, which is huge because now you can rent your property as a vacation rental. You can offset some of those costs very easy, and then you come and use your property when it's not being used. And I think that really made a boom in Marathon because it's such a nice area to boat. And because it's such a nice paradise, you have these vacation rentals that come in, they spend a lot of money in the city. And ever since then, it seems like the city has really been booming. So these 7-day rentals can be a major plus if you're trying to make income on your property, but they can be a bit of an annoyance if you have a vacation rental next to you or both sides of you, if people are just coming down for the weekend and partying. I have heard of locals complaining about that, where they just have vacation rentals next to their house all the time. And a lot of times those 7-day rental people that come down, they are there to boat and party and just have a great time. So the 28-day minimum for other parts of Monroe County, a lot of times if people are using it as a vacation rental, they're not just there to party. A lot of times they're there working, or just they're not there and they're concerned about disturbing the neighbor. When you're in Marathon, it seems like your hometown, but it's just when you're there, it feels like a very laid-back paradise. Something else that's pretty interesting, when you're in Marathon, it's 13 miles long, and you feel like it's just one big landmass, but it actually consists of 13 different islands. Marathon is considered to be the heart of the Florida Keys. It goes from mile marker 47 to mile marker 60. What's really good about it is if you do want to go to the mainland, you are about an hour and 10 minutes closer than Key West to get to Miami or even Fort Lauderdale. And sometimes it is good when you are living on an island to just get off the island, because you can get island fever. Sometimes you just need to get off. But sometimes the way that I solve that issue is I love going swimming in the ocean. I love going on the boat. And when you're out there on the water going on the boat, you feel like the whole ocean is your backyard. And if you don't have a boat, you can rent a boat. And then there's also tons of sunset sails all in the area. And there's just tons of charters that you can take. Or if you're not into boating, you just go out there in the water. What's also great about Marathon Key is you have an international airport right there. It doesn't do commercial flights, but you can do charters, and then also if you have an airplane, you can fly it into there, no problem. So I love the Florida Keys. Now, when you're talking about Marathon, one thing that I think it has an advantage over Sugarloaf Key, Cudjoe, Summerlin, is that you have everything right there. For instance, if you're in those areas like Sugarloaf or Cudjoe, you have to drive into Key West to go to the grocery store and then, enjoy all the wonderful restaurants. And in Marathon, there's a really nice grocery store there and tons of wonderful restaurants. There's also middle schools and the high school there as well. So when you are visiting or living in Marathon Key, I think it is important to be a water person. You want to be out in the water or in a pool, because you can feel a little bit landlocked because there's not a ton going on there. They do have music at some of the bars and restaurants, but I think it really is a boater's paradise. Another great thing about those homes in Marathon is a lot of them have really large dockage with deep water access, and I think that's really important if you're going to be out there on the water and you're going to have a bigger boat. But if you have a smaller boat, there's some nice sandbars nearby that you can enjoy, and I love taking my wife and daughter out to the sandbars, and we actually were just out there yesterday, and we just had a blast. So there are some condos there, and they range from about 400,000 to 900,000. And then there's some single family homes that range from 1 to 4 million. And then you also have those luxury properties that are about 4 to 10 million. I definitely think that Marathon Key is one of the best options for investment properties because of those rentals. Now, I talk to a lot of different rental companies, and when I'm looking for an investor or a client and ask me, hey, we want to buy a place where we can offset a lot of those costs or even make a nice profit, and all the rental companies always say Marathon is probably your best bet because of those 7-day rentals. There's also great restaurants there like Castaway, Keys Fisheries, and the Island Fish Company. There's also Sunset Grill, Sparky's Landing, the Turtle Hospital, Oceanfront Park and Curry Hammock State Park, and also Sombrero Beach. What I love about Marathon is it's very practical. If you want to come into Key West and enjoy Key West, you're only an hour away. You can make it to the mainland super easy, and it's very convenient that you have everything you need right there on those islands. Now let's talk about the pros and cons in living in Marathon Key. I would say, first off, the number one pro is you have those 7-day rentals, and it's a boater's paradise. I would say another pro would be that you have hospitals, schools, restaurants, and you also have that airport there, which is super convenient as well. You also have a wonderful beach there called Sombrero Beach. There's also a vast variety of properties that you can purchase. Also, what I love about it is even if you're visiting in that area, you're driving through the neighborhoods at Marathon, people are always waving at you, so it makes you feel part of the community and very welcome as well. They also have holiday parades, there's different festivals, and then you also have different fishing tournaments, which is really fun. Something else that might appeal to a lot of people is it's not as dense as Key West. It's a little bit more spread out, and you don't have that downtown cluster area. So now let's talk about the cons of living in that area. I think because of those 7-day rentals, it does drive the price up on those properties because a lot of people are buying them for investments, and it makes it very popular because almost the rest of Monroe County has those 28-day minimum for the rentals. If you are into the nightlife, Marathon, I think it's very limited. They do have their nice bars and restaurants that have live music, but it doesn't have like the downtown area of Key West. But if that's what you're looking for, that would be a plus. One of the cons for that area is a lot of the houses and some of those nicer areas are even built at ground level, but some of them are built above flood because they're built on landfill. One of the cons of that airport there in Marathon would be that they don't have commercial flights in there. So if you are taking a commercial flight, you got to fly into Key West and drive up, or fly into Miami and drive down. Another con for that area, if you're into a lot of shopping, there isn't a lot of shopping going on in Marathon, but it is a boater's paradise. It's a place to sort of get away from it all and that commercial vibe. So Marathon Key has become one of the nicest keys in all the Florida Keys. And thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. Please leave a comment below. I answer all of them personally. It really helps my channel out. Also, just keep living that island lifestyle.